It's really unfortunate. I just built a brand new gaming PC. It's a super, super high-end gaming PC. Problem is it weighs like 40 pounds and I take my monitor with me and my power brick and all this stuff. Can't really take it with me when I want to go right now over to a friend's house and play some games. Can't really take it with me to the coffee shop when I want to play some games. So, I mean, that's unfortunate. You have all this power, but I'm locked down in my basement. Doesn't matter anymore. This is an Alienware Area-51, 18-inch model, RTX 5090, Intel 275, HX. Bam! This one here is basically a desktop that you can take with you. Most importantly, this beautiful laptop here from Alienware has the components inside to tame the beasts, the CPU and the GPU beasts, and to make sure they give you the performance that you want. This here is a relatively slim laptop for what it is. It's definitely not a small laptop, but for what it is relatively slim. This thing here is going to give you the performance that you need with all the premium that you need. So let's check it out here. If you're looking for true desktop level performance and something that you can take with you, obviously this is not going to be competing with a Dell Precision Plus or something like that. That's meant to be all day battery life, 24 hours battery life, weighs 2 pounds and you can carry it around with your pinky finger. That's not what this is. This is for people who, like my intro, want to take all that power with them. Don't want to be stuck with a little basic situation where they're stuck in their office all the time when they want a game. You might want to consider this one. So let's check it out today. Okay, so let's come here and look at the Dell website. We can look at the builder for the Alienware 18. So we do have two CPU options, Intel Core Ultra 7 255HX and the 275HX. They are both very good CPUs. So there's no wrong decision here. In this model here today, we're testing the 275HX. I have a lot of experience with it. It's a very good CPU, honestly. You can get a wide variety of GPUs here. I mean, for an 18-inch, I guess if you're really just going for, CPU performance, if you're doing esports type stuff or professional work and you only need a little bit of a GPU, you can go for something like this. Personally for me, I would say buy in at 5070 Ti or above. Today we're going to be testing the 5090, the beast inside the beast. Obviously, we're going with the top. But these are all good here. I've used all of them, and I have extensive experience with all of them. 5070 Ti is also not a mistake. If that's what you can afford and you're like, that's all I can get here, go for that. It does upgrade your CPU automatically. I mean, you're getting the better CPU and the GPU. So your choice, but we're going with the 5090 today. Two different types of RAM configurations. Now this is CSODIMM and it's not SODIMM. What does that mean? This is backwards compatible with standard SOTA memory. Look how fast it is. 6,400 mega transfers per second of. This is not soldered RAM, so it's much faster. So if you're going to buy this with 32 and be like, I'll upgrade it on my own, right? I'll upgrade it on my own to 64 and get yourself some SODIMM, standard SODIMM. Just be aware it will cost you a lot of money and it's hard to get. So, I mean, yeah, it's actually worth it to just get it from Dell. You can get so much storage on this thing. This thing has 3 NVMe slots. Oh, right there, 3 NVMe slots. So you can get 12 from them. This is your choice. These are, these ones here come with Gen 4, and you can get Gen 5 drives. They're very, very, very fast. Today we're going to be testing a 2 terabyte Gen 5. Keyboard options here. I generally like Alienware keyboards quite a bit. Just the standard Alienware keyboards, I like them a lot, to be honest. But today they sent me the Cherry MX ultra low profile, and it's mechanical. It's fantastic. You'll see in this video. Spoiler for half the freaking video here. But your choice there. Was that even a big price difference? $50. Okay. Honestly, I'm just going to tell you right now, get the keyboard upgrade. It's $50. Was it even $50? Yeah, it's $50. Yeah, it's a no-brainer. Trust me, just get the keyboard upgrade. Just don't even worry about the other stuff. Spec out however you feel like it. Just get the freaking keyboard upgrade and just trust me on that one. Okay, so here is a look at the massive laptop. It doesn't come across on camera just how big it is, but usually when I'm like, it looks bigger on camera than it is. No, this one's actually very large. It's a very large laptop. You can see there, I've been using it actually for a few days now. Fingerprints, it will get them. Because it is a darker material. However, it's this nice off-green. Let's turn on this light like that. Maybe just a little bit extra light. Yeah, like that there. But it is actually a metal and a metallic color as well on top of that. It is a big laptop. It's a very big laptop, but it's actually not, I mean, it's thick as well. But it doesn't feel like it's thick for no reason. Like some laptops would be kind of like really plasticky. You know, you kind of get like a bulky, pointless look to it. Not really here. I mean, the chassis itself, you can see there, is actually not super thick. There's a big like bump out here for raising it up, but the actual chassis is not actually the thickest thing in the world. The lid is a little bit thick, but it's just part of the design as well. But make no mistake, it is a big laptop for sure. Very, very big laptop. 18 inches, I mean, makes sense that it would be. It's also not the lightest thing in the world. It is packed full of cooling and components in that, so it is heavy, right? 4.13, that's like, what was that, 9.5 pounds, something like that? I'm not even sure how I would measure this. Now, the brick is actually, despite the fact that this is an incredibly powerful laptop, it is actually mercifully small. So it is a 360 watt power supply. It's clearly a gallium nitride because it is very thin, honestly. It's a very thin charger. So it's dense though. There's a little bit of weight to it because, you know, the components are in there, but it is a very dense charger. You know, that's about another 1,000. So you're looking at, yeah, 5,000 grams, something like that. So there's a lot of weight there. There's a lot of weight there. But, I mean, it's not designed to be an ultra portable, you know, thin little thing that you're just going to pop in your little side bag and, you know, take with you. That's not what this is. This is a mobile gaming desktop, essentially is what it is. Like that there. So you can see the components inside. A little bit of fingerprints there, but go like that. You can see me. But it does allow you to kind of see the fingerprints inside. It does allow you to see the components inside. It's actually, it is super cool, to be honest. So that there, you can see. It's just hard to get an angle because of all the lights I have all over the place, but you can see directly inside the laptop. Super cool. Speakers firing down here. Very nice. Obviously, the thing is incredibly rigid. Like, there's zero flex on this thing. Like, you could throw it at someone if they tried to, like, mug you. And then they tried to mug you for the Alienware, and you use the Alienware to defend yourself. Yeah, it's actually viable. You could actually do that, legitimately. When we open it up, the screen has no wobble really whatsoever, right? Like you could, but the hinge feels nice, robust. They're going to put obviously some nice big hinges on a laptop like this, of this size in this class. Feels nice and robust. Inside is not that pearly material. It has the soft touch that Alienwares have now. I don't really know how to describe the material, but it's like the interior of a very expensive car. Very good. Left side of the laptop, you do get this, the full-size SD card there. So if you're on-the-go professional, I don't know, you're like a drone footage person and you to do professional work on the go, you could do that. And because it's a desktop replacement, you have very good port selection. So you're going to end up here with, Ethernet here. You get 3 USB-A. They're all fast, 555. So you can hook up like SSDs in that. You get 2 Thunderbolt ports here. Thunderbolt 5. Very good. And then HDMI, obviously it's a desktop replacement. You don't have HDMI, obviously. And then power. This thing has a pretty impressive interior. Again, it's not really focused on things like battery life at all, obviously, but it is focused on max performance. So we get 2 very large fans here. They actually have a different fin density as well. Thick that way, and they're just fairly large in general. So these are going to move a ton of air. Just evacuate out the back there and out here. Then we have another style here. This one is also fairly thick here. Blow it that way. And then we actually have a lower profile fan here because there's an SSD on top. So we have 3 tall ones and 1 short one. They're all going to move tons of air. And the actual shape of the fans, see how they have the curve to them? That, I don't know if that increases air movement in general, but it does help with turbulence and air noise and that. So I've already had this thing under load. It doesn't have any weird whirring noises. That's thanks to the fan design. So that's very good. Massive vapor chamber on the flip side. Lots of heat pipes in that. So, I mean, they're focused on cooling, but they're being very nice, and they're putting all the stuff that you want to access on this side. You're not going to want to take out this motherboard and flip it around unless, like, you know, years down the road it needs to be serviced, but that's not what I'm doing here. Inside, we do have a very large battery, 96 watt hours. It's close to the legal limit. You can't really get much bigger. 99 is as big as you can get. Speakers aren't really impressive. We'll see how they sound, but they're not like a high wattage variant or anything like that. Little daughter board there. Then good. Now we do have 3 NVMe's right in front of us. So we have 1 and 2 underneath this kind of cooling plate here. So that should keep them nice and cool. And then there's actually another one over here too. So the third SSD goes on here. That's why that fan is shorter, so that you can fit an SSD on top of it. Let me just grab one. Right, so you can just slide this in here, like that there. And get another SSD in there. So it does support 3 2280 size NVMe's. That's very nice to see. I like to see 3 2280, obviously, it's going to be really nice. You could get 8, 16, and 24 gigabytes of NVMe storage. I mean, it's a workstation, gaming, like gaming desktop replacement, so that makes sense. RAM here, you do have your RAM in there. We'll go through the settings in that as well. So easy to access the RAM if you want to upgrade, no problems down the road. Easy to access the storage, there's one there. 2 more you can upgrade, very, very easy. I mean, the only thing that's not really exposed in here is the actual CPU and GPU die, which on the flip side, underneath the cooling. So pretty much everything you want in here for that. Wi-Fi is right here. It does have a heatsink on it, but it's not upgradable standard size anyways. So looks good inside though. I mean, pretty impressive cooling. That's obviously what they're focusing on here. Okay, so here we are looking at the laptop. It's a beautiful thing. I liked the Alienware from last year, 2024. The, I guess, M18, I like the 16-inch as well. So this is this year's model. It is enhanced from last year's model. It's just a little bit more premium here and there. A little bit of niceties added to it here and there. So design-wise, I mean, we get a little bit of a chin in here, but that's because it's a massive laptop. There's a ton of cooling in that in here. So it just gives you a little bit more runway in that. It is what it is. It's totally fine. Massive screen, obviously, looking pretty good. Inside here, we do have a full-size keyboard, and then we also do have a full-size numpad, nothing shrunk down, so that should be very nice as well. Pretty large trackpad. It does light up, as you can see there. Very cool. We'll play with that in a minute here, so that's really nice. Now, this here, we're actually going to start right with the typing because it's such a selling feature here. We do have on this model here the Cherry keyboard. So I've used this keyboard before. The key caps are reasonably large as well, and there's a lot of travel, as you can see there. Lots and lots and lots of travel. And there's actually a tactile bump. Yeah, it feels really nice. And a click. It makes a physical clicking noise. Let's see if I can catch that on camera or on speaker. I'm not even bottoming out. Watch. It is a physical, like it actually is a mechanical switch. So I'm not even bottoming out and it's making a mechanical switch. So if you're a touch typist, especially a light touch typist, you're going to be able to type without like banging out super hard on this laptop. But let's give it a quick type here because this is a huge selling feature for me and we'll see how that feels. Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible to type on. So there's no point in just like rambling on and on and on. It will be an unbelievably nice typing experience if you haven't tried one of these before. Trackpad is, you do have this glass or some type of clear acrylic type material on top there, so it's incredibly smooth, and it actually does light up. So there's an LED type thing. It lights it up there. You can change this color. You can see we have a blue here. But yeah, it does light up, and it has a really nice click. Because my hands don't really touch it much, but it does have good palm rejection. So if I'm typing here, right, my hand's not like, see that? It's not moving. You have to actually intentionally move it, right? And if I even have my palm on it and I use this hand, it will work. So very good palm rejection because it's not tiny. It's still fairly large. Now we will show some of this RGB stuff here. You can see in here we go into Alien FX. This is in the, let's get rid of that. This is in the Alienware software, Alienware Command Center. So you come in here, you go to that there, Alien FX, and then you can do RGB. So you have your lid on the back, you have the Alien head, you do have your rim right there, you can see. And then inside here you have your trackpad, and you can change this here. So that's blue. I'm gonna make, pulse, pulse, pulse. Let's go back, let's make that Aurora. What does that mean? I don't know. We'll just go color, and I'm gonna make it like a purple color. It's just what I like. Red. You can play with that however you want, but I'll probably make it like green just so it contrasts a little bit. Something like that. Looks a little alien-y, green and purple. So, I mean, yeah, it's got full RGB setup. You can play with that however you want. You have other things here. You have brightness of your screen here, turn it up and down. Brightness of the keyboard. 1, 2, 3. Now, screen is something that's going to be pretty good on this laptop as well. So we do have a good color space, 100% DCI-P3 color space, so it's going to be nice and saturated. Beautiful screen here. 1600p. that's going to be able to, like the 5090 is going to just absolutely rip at that level there. You could actually drive a higher resolution screen, like a 2000p, which would, be more pixel dense than that. But 1600p is actually fine at this resolution here. I wouldn't want to go probably any bigger than 18 inches, like 18, 19 inches. 20 is kind of fine. And then, I kind of want to be like, all right, because it's so close to you, you might want to increase the resolution. But honestly, 18 inches is fine, especially because it's a physically larger laptop this way. It sits a little bit further back from you. So you're not going to see like weird little tiny pixels and things like that. So it'll be just fine. And this is a gaming laptop. So 1600p is kind of the sweet spot for this tier of gaming. I mean, yeah, this thing's going to absolutely tear. Spoiler for the gaming section. Anyways, so come in here, 300 hertz, 144, 120, 100. So lots of different wattages here, refreshes here. So, if you're just kind of wanting good battery, you can go all the way down to 60, honestly, even like 75. I can visibly notice the difference between 60 and 75. You just can. So that will, if you want a little bit smoother, but you don't want to, have this really high refresh, potentially killing your battery slightly faster, you can go down. But I mean, a lot of the time you're going to take this thing with you and plug it in. So whatever. We do battery testing. We will decrease that. So that's good. Good blacks. Let's go like that. That is not what I see. I see about that. Not OLED black, but it is a good, I mean, they're not putting a cheap panel, obviously. But here's the other thing. The reds are incredibly vibrant. So 100% DCI-P3 color space. So here, I'll give you an example. So if we were looking at a 45% NTSC screen, it would look like this, the red, where we get this kind of like orange. This is actually how an NTSC screen would look. The red would be this orange tone here, where you get this kind of orangey color here. And this is like orange. That's it doesn't expand into the red enough. And then if you try something like 100%, sRGB color spaces is good. Like it will actually look very nice. It won't bother me at all. But then when you move into the DCI-P3 color space, that's when the reds get very vibrant. So we'll come in here and I'll just show you an example. The greens here will look very, very, very vibrant. If you go into a sRGB screen, they'll be dulled down slightly. It'll still look good, but it'll be dulled down slightly. In an NTSC screen, it'll look like dead grass. Right, so very vibrant. Now, there is this weird phenomenon that's finally starting to go where a lot of companies would put crappy screens on gaming laptops because they're like, they're not creators, they don't need good screens. And I'm like, that's the opposite of truth. Yeah, I need a good laptop screen because I'm a creator. Yes, true. But when I'm gaming and when people are gaming, gamers don't want garbage screens. Like, why do you think Alienware has like high level OLED, like desktop monitors that they sell like crazy, right? High level OLED monitors, high refresh OLEDs with absolute blacks. They have 100% DCI-P3 color space, etc. This here has an extremely high color space. You're looking at 100% DCI-P3 color space, bright and high refresh. Gamers want good screens. Now, people may say, well, this is the Alienware Alienware Area-51 18-inch, and it should have an OLED. Well, not for me. I am not a fan of OLED screens on laptops, personally. Desktop, sure, because the desktop is going to be in front of me. I don't mind it. It's right in front of me. I'm going to be able to easily handle reflections. I'm not going outside. Laptops, I don't like OLED screens, personally, me. Because for one, they often are very reflective. Not always, but they often are very reflective. Take your laptop outside, into a coffee shop, brighter environment, office environment, like a bright office environment, you will have struggles with reflection handling on an OLED screen, OLED laptop. So I want an IPS screen. So I'm going to guess that in this area here, the audio is going to be probably actually the weakest part of the laptop is going to be the audio, which I guess theoretically is the best place if you have to have a weak spot. But let's test it out. Okay, let's start turning it up. Yeah, the speakers are way better than I anticipated. I don't know. Back in the day when they had those kind of like round style ones, they just like never sounded good on any laptop. I don't know if it's the tuning of them. They sound pretty darn good. They're not as good as if you get yourself like, even from Dell, like say you get yourself a high level XPS or something like that, or some of their, higher end, some of the new plus ones, like The creator style ones, yeah, they have better speakers. That's what they're for. They're like media type PCs. They're designed for that kind of work. They have better audio, obviously. That's what they're for. But for a gaming laptop, this is very good. It has a ton of high end, a ton of mid range, and the low end bass is actually there. There's not a huge amount of the low end bass like you get on a more creator focused laptop, but it is still there. Okay, so now we are going to do some Cinebench runs. Not for performance, that'll be in the benchmark section here, but what I do want to do here is check the noise, thermals, and wattages. This is a very powerful CPU, 275HX. It can be hard to tame depending on the laptop. If you put it in, like I have a thin, much thinner laptop as well right now with the same CPU, significantly thinner, not from Alienware, and yeah, it has a hard time taming such a CPU. This thing is a beast, so I don't suspect any problems. Let's actually start on, I guess, oops, I didn't mean to do that. I wanted to go on silent. We'll go on quiet mode, and we'll kind of work our way up the wattage and see how noisy there. So that's silent mode there. I do want to check idle. Idle is nothing. 39 degrees, like 40 degrees. That's like, yeah, that's literally nothing on a 275HX. And wattage, yeah, it's idling pretty low too. We'll be able to get down a little bit when I stop having crap going on. But these chips do actually idle fairly low, which is one of the nice things of the 275HX. They're incredibly powerful, but they can actually idle fairly low. Okay, so let's come in here. We'll just do a little bit of silent mode. We'll check the noise as well as we go. So the machine is essentially silent when it's not doing anything. My noise floor is about 34, 35. I can't hear it when it's on unless I start like doing stuff. When it's just kind of hanging out, it doesn't produce any noise. Silent mode, full run. Yeah, about 30. Holy smokes. Wow. That is so high for silent. What the hell? I mean, it does have a burst of 200 watts. Yeah, I mean, anytime I've used this chip, I've used it once in like a laptop that could handle it. But since then, I've used it in a lot of laptops that couldn't handle it. That's very high. 36,000. Yeah. All right. Wow. Okay. Oh, anyways, that's, yeah, I'm actually like visibly shook by that. I didn't know it could do that with that kind of thing, because I've always run into throttling on this chip. Yeah. All right, cool. Let's continue. Now we're on balance mode. Let's see what we can do. Wattage is higher here potentially. I'm not worried about the score anymore because that burst is going to be gone maybe, but I might take a peek at it. It's not really doing anything. It's like basically silent. There's no noise. The score should be about the same. It's exactly the same. Might have went up actually. Yeah, it did go up. Somehow quieter. I mean, sure. So suffice it to say, I mean, even on silent mode, you're gonna like. I wouldn't even say it's like, oh, there's compromised processing. Like that's crazy high performance for silent mode. You could do like that's upper level desktop performance. Like I'm talking, AMD 79 50X type performance in a desktop with liquid cooling, right? Or a 14900K or something like that. Like that's the type of performance we're getting there on freaking silent mode. I've been telling people that these Arrow Lake are very efficient, these Arrow Lake CPUs, and they are. To be honest, they actually are. They can use a ton of watts, but they don't need it. Yeah, it's not even close to throttling. The fans will just go a tiny bit more if they need to. Yeah, 40 is like nothing. 40 dB is nothing. That's like as noisy as my Ultrabook. Just like doing some basic stuff. It might go up a little bit. 44. There it goes. Finally. Fans are finally having to work. I mean, it is also pushing 150 freaking watts on balance mode. So, and it has no problem keeping it cool. This is a very acceptable sound. Now, I will point out that the the acoustics of the fans are very pleasant. Does that make sense? There is fan sound, but there's absolutely no whirring, like woo, 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 woo. There's no screeching, like it's just air. I actually have my window open and there's a light breeze outside and it sounds the same, just a very nice airflow. So this noise level 2 is also not noisy. The mic might exaggerate, especially because the mic is significantly closer to the laptop, and it always does. But to me, that's like, I'd game like that all day. It doesn't bother me at all. There's just no noise whatsoever from that that I would find irritating. So, okay, now we're in performance mode. Right there. So performance mode. I'm actually just going to kick it right up to overdrive because whatever. It's doing very well. Overdrive. Okay, now it's immediately putting out some more noise. The fans are intentionally starting faster. I suspect it will actually run cooler because the fans are going more. It's still not an annoying sound though. Man. W2 38,610. So good. Not even close to throttling. And then just a couple of quick benchmarks here. So the included SSD, just to show it, is that Gen 5 drive. Very fast. I have strong preference towards SK Hynix, so I love to see this drive in here. Very, very good. Then battery life is going to be an area where the laptop is really not going to excel. It's not really meant for that. In this specific scenario, because of the form factor of the laptop and what it is, I'm not going to complain about battery life. I mean, it's a desktop that you can take around with you. Idling here, we're at 60 hertz refresh, but full brightness, everything's turned up brightness. Just kind of piddling around Windows, we're looking at about 30-ish, 31 watts being burned there. That'll give you about 2 to 3 hours of battery life. Again, this is a bloated Windows. I haven't tuned anything. This is just a stock system. You could probably tune it a little bit, get some of the crap off of it. And of course, you could do a little bit of undervolting and that kind of stuff. Bring this down to probably around 20 watts idle. Still not going to be the best battery life, but 4 or 5 hours. So just be aware of that. Then just moving on from that, some 1080p 60 YouTube, same settings otherwise. And we're bumping up a little bit even higher here, 40 watts or so. That'll give us about 2.5 hours maybe if you're lucky. So you're probably going to get 2 to 3 hours battery life out of this laptop. Not fantastic. But again, that's not remotely what this laptop is designed for. And let me show you something else here. Now, this is another important consideration. Yes, this thing it is big and it does not have the best battery life in the world, right? It's a big boy. It does not have the best battery life in the world. Not plugged in. USB-C. Yes, it will charge off of USB-C. You're not going to be gaming. You're not going to be doing some like heavy gaming on the USB-C, but it's okay. You're going to take this with you. You're going to have, only a few hours battery life, 2 to 3 hours with no problems whatsoever. But maybe you're just going to class or you're just going to like meetings and that kind of stuff, just whatever. And you don't want to take the big power brick with you or you don't want to take it out of your bag. Yeah, just take a USB-C charger. Take a little USB-C charger with you. That one happens to be a 100-watt one. Little GAN charger, whatever. Plug it in USB-C, you're good. Right? So if you're just looking for something that's going to be portable to help you take this with you and extend the battery life, it's not fantastic on something, a big gaming laptop. It's okay because it does support USB-C. That's a very important thing here. Okay, here's a look at the built-in webcam. Decent lighting on the side, this side, terrible lighting on that side, and terrible lighting in the front, and it's actually doing a good job. It's not turning me into a ghost, overexposing me and making me super pale. It's also not going the other way. Everything looks to be about right, actually. It's not a 4K webcam by any means, but the polling rate seems fine, and it's handling this pretty rough scene in terms of brightness very well. So I'm actually very happy with this webcam. I mean, it's a gaming laptop. The webcam is more than serviceable. So, okay, so game testing. We're going to start with some performance testing on different modes. That's the first thing we're going to do here. We'll do also then some just straight up game testing on some different settings. But I want to do that. I'll probably actually have some like a follow-up video, maybe even 2, just on this system. Because it's hard to cover everything in the system here. in one singular video. So we're just going to go ultra native just to start here, just for this like performance testing. So it's demanding, but it's not like brutal or anything like that. So yeah, so 1440p, or sorry, 1600p native. So let's test some of the different performance modes here. Here we're in overdrive. Check the noise. It's been running for a few minutes. We're at 1600p ultra, where I was before. It's definitely, the fans are definitely physically loud, but they're not really annoying. We're getting about 100 FPS or so. Lows are amazing, obviously. CPU is sitting around 100 watts, so I mean, it's a CPU heavy game. We're still hitting about 56% of the CPU. So it is going to hit everything in this mode here, in this game here. 170 watts on the CPU is capable. GPU not getting remotely warm. 170 watts on the GPU. So everything's running basically just full bore. Never seen the CPU run that cool under in Cyberpunk and any other laptop that I've tested. So this laptop is the first one that I've seen that can properly handle the 275HX under full load without it throttling in games. 90 watts on the CPU is not bad. So about 100. Let's come out here. We're going to go down to performance mode. Okay, CPU is down a fair bit actually. 25, it might jump up. No, it is going to stay down. Okay, so the CPU is down quite a bit, 20 to 30 watts. Performance is not down that much though, right? Maybe it'll probably be a little bit less consistent here. CPU is running about the same. GPU is running about the same. Watts are about the same on the GPU, so it's primarily actually cutting watts to the CPU here. And of course it's quieter as a result. Right, significantly quieter. This 51 here, 52, is like now, it's definitely, I mean, their fans are still going. They're very audible. It's right in front of you, but it wouldn't really bother me at this level that much. Okay, I've filmed quite a bit of game testing right now, like an hour or two. And here we're on performance mode. I'm actually going performance instead of overdrive because the fans are actually quieter under performance mode. So it could run actually a little hotter. But even so, like that's pretty darn cool. I can physically feel air coming out of here. Like there's air coming out this way. Right here. Cool air. So obviously, I mean, that's why it's so cool there. 19 degrees, cool air coming out. Your hands are going to be in here and they're not going to be warm at all. Even in this like quote unquote hot spot, it's not hot. 33. No problems there at all. Let's look at the bottom though, where you might sit on your lap. Survey says, very cool. Very, very, very cool. So, I mean, this thing is the most powerful laptop I've ever used in my entire life by like a fair bit, to be honest. But it's not just that. It's that it can keep the components cool under those scenarios. Give it a sec. For the AI, these things have like AI built in to figure out where the watts go. So now we're down about 25-ish frames, which is about 25% less performance. Maybe not quite 20. Yeah, it's hard to say. CPU is, same, kind of just bouncing around a little bit, fair bit under the performance mode, but the GPU is down. So we went from 170 all the way down to around 150 or so. Is it going to stay there or is it going to go up and down? Sometimes it just takes a moment for the AI settings to kick in, like the wattage allocation. So we'll just give it a sec here. Yeah, it's starting to figure out what it needs to do here. Got to give it a second when you switch performance modes, because there are AI type functionality to build in and figure out which CPU, GPU, where the watts need to go and that. So the GPU is down from max performance, at 170 or so, bouncing around a little bit, but our performance is only down a few frames, right, 4 or 5. And now we're under 50 dB. So yeah, if you're in a room with a bunch of people and you don't want it to be super noisy, balance mode is still going to give you really good performance here. Really good. It's primarily taking watts away from the CPU GPU is still getting quite a bit. It's down a little bit, but it's, I mean, we're losing 5 or 6 frames. Temperatures are nice and cool still. Quiet. I just wonder what it can do in quiet mode. So long as it doesn't totally choke the CPU, it'll be fine. Yeah, GPU is down a ton on quiet mode, but right, these Blackwell GPUs are efficient, right? 100, 115 watts, maybe 120 is a max when it figures out what it's doing here. So we're only 50 off watts from the max, approximately. CPU is down a fair bit, it's basically half of max. But our frames are still really good, right? 80, 75 to 80 frames. It's so good, right? And it's way quieter. I had to speak quieter now. Now we're talking Ultrabook level sound. Let's do one more quick game here. This is just going to be a much more GPU intensive game than Cyberpunk. This is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This game is significantly more GPU heavy than it's significantly less CPU heavy than Cyberpunk, so it's going to hit the GPU more in the sense that that's going to be more likely to be our limit than the CPU itself. So we'll come in here. 240p. Okay, so we'll go something like that, and we'll just crank it up. No scaling to start here. The GPU is getting slammed, but the CPU is not needed as much here because it's a very GPU heavy game. CPU much lighter in this one. It'll still be used, but it's not going to get absolutely obliterated. So let's just run around here for a moment. And you know, the system can only go to 120, like the game engine. So there's going to be times like this. We would be way above 120 if the engine supported it. It just doesn't. So, but suffice it to say, you're going to have very good performance. Now, it may not look like it, but this game is brutal, absolutely brutal. And I use it to test, like I use it to test all my desktop GPUs, make sure they work properly. I use it for different benchmarks. It's brutal. And the fact that we're able to just clear the performance here. This is native too, without any issues whatsoever. Just speaks to the power of this GPU. It's very good. The other thing we can do here, we can do stuff like, you know, play with some scaling in that. But what I want to do here, now I've been recently testing a very high-end gaming desktop with a 5070 Ti desktop, which is very powerful, and 1700X3D on this exact screen. But this is 4K native. And the reason I want to show you this is I want to be able to show you the difference and kind of let you guys know what you can do with 4K and the fact that this is a 4K ready system here. Right? We're going to have tons of VRAM, so you're never going to run out of that. This is 4K native. And yes, the performance will go down from 1600p or 1440p, but look at that. Look at that performance. That's so good. This is a very GPU heavy game too. 2020, like this is a 2025 title. It came out in 2024, but on PC, but this is fully relevant in 2025. Very hard to run. And you're going to be able to use this Alienware on its own screen, this and that. You know, it's a desktop replacement, but if you want to hook up a big 4K screen or something, or hook it up to your TV, you're going to have no problems here. Look at that. No problems whatsoever. Now, let's just try a touch of scaling here. Mainly for me. You guys probably won't care, but I've done a lot of GPU testing in the past couple weeks. Desktop GPU testing. And it's all very fresh in my head. So I tested this game on multiple desktop GPUs at this exact setting. Let's see. Yep. Yep. So this is around where my 5070 Ti desktop GPU was getting. Between there and a 5080 desktop 5080 or 5070 Ti, close, but somewhere in that range between the two of them. So it's very good performance. And we're only using 170 watts-ish, 175 watts. And it's competing with my desktop GPU. Where is, oh, there's my desktop GPU right there. I was like, where is it? That's a 5070 Ti desktop. Not cheap GPU either. And yeah, this is basically slightly higher, faster than that. So I mean, I could build a desktop system, and it would cost a lot of money, and then I can't take it with me. It sits on my desk. It's not mobile. This is. Now, because we're also in such a GPU heavy scenario here, like you could turn this thing down. Go to performance mode, you probably lose 0 performance. It'll just be quieter. Massively quieter. No performance drop at all. Because the GPU is still at 170. The overdrive is just making sure it runs cool, but like the GPU is only at 60 degrees. We're not having problems here. The CPU is not even at, it's like 60. So cool. And you can see how much lower the CPU watts are, but this is not a CPU heavy game, so it doesn't matter. And the higher you increase the resolution, the more you're going to offload load onto the GPU. This is balanced. At this point, the laptop is incredibly quiet. Like the game. The mic is close to the laptop, and it's very quiet. What do we lose? 1 FPS, maybe 2? So a lot of the time, honestly, you're not going to have to run this thing in the performance mode. I just did it for like testing purposes, just to make sure there was no drops. But a lot of the time, you're going to throw this thing into like silent, balanced, or performance mode. You're not going to have to put it in overdrive, like ever, to be honest. I'm going to test this laptop at 4K and 1440p, 1600p in other videos, probably 2 for sure, gaming videos. So if you want like more game tests, you want significantly more game tests than I'm testing here, don't worry about it. I just don't want, a 50-hour video here. Okay, so conclusions time. Let's talk about the negatives. It does not have good battery life. It does not have good battery life whatsoever. Do I care? No. Nope, not at all. You guys watch my channel. You guys know that when I talk about, look how big it is. When I talk about laptops, I talk about accessories, different things that I review. Everything within context. Everything within context. Yes, I don't always need to review the most powerful, top-of-the-line laptops and say that's what you got to get, to have any like clout. I'll review cheaper laptops. I'll review middle-range laptops, high expensive laptops. I'll review different levels of accessories. And it's okay because everything has a niche. So long as it fulfills what it's supposed to do in that niche very well, I'm going to be happy. This laptop here, the Alienware, the Area-51 18-inch model, is not in the same segment as, for example, a Dell Precision Plus, something like that. It's not in the same segment. It's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be. You're not getting a Lunar Lake chip from Intel that's going to give you all-day battery life, and it weighs 2 pounds. That's not what this is. This is a desktop that has been shrunk down into a mobile laptop with very premium parts that is portable. You can pick it up, you can take it with you. Okay? So yes, it has shit battery life. That's okay. That's okay. Because you're probably taking a charger with you because you want to have incredibly good desktop level performance with you on the go. That's what you're going to care about. Now, that's the only real negative. I mean, it's expensive. Again, it's expensive, obviously. It's got the top of the line, everything in it. That's fine, and I don't care. That's fine. This is a market segment where, yes, you're going to pay money for it, and yes, you are going to compromise on things like battery life. Now, one area where this level of performance would be compromised often in the past, and even on other laptops this year, is cooling and performance, right? You can slap whatever you want inside a laptop. Doesn't mean it can handle it. This one can easily handle it. Easily. CPU doesn't run hot. GPU doesn't run hot. Everything's maxed out. Amazing. Runs fantastic. Fans, even on like balanced mode, they run pretty darn quiet and they can easily keep this thing cool. Super impressive. Keyboard is like actually phenomenal. It's such a good keyboard. So, I mean, that's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy good. Trackpad is very nice and it lights up, so it's super cool. RGB is cool. Screen is just exactly what I want. It's a fantastic screen. Audio is better than I anticipated too. So there's no negatives that aren't within context, right? I mean, there is negatives for every single person, right? Like everyone has something that would be a negative to them that might actually be positive for somebody else. So I can't tell you that there's anything wrong with this laptop. There's nothing bad about this laptop. I'm being serious. There's nothing bad about this laptop. It's just, does it suit what you want it to do? If you are looking for a desktop that has been shrunk down into a laptop with a keyboard and a screen you can take with you, this is the one. This is the one. It's fantastic.